Jazzcast Pros.
Hello there, my graceful grinders and totally uniquers. It's your girl, Dr. Pamala Brown-Grinion, President and CEO of Totally You-nique Educational Consultants and the Totally You-nique Institute of Excellence. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Grace and Grind podcast, where we elevate the inner woman, refine the outer woman, and celebrate the totally unique woman in you. Today's episode is a special tribute to the woman who wears many crowns but holds one sacred title particularly close to the heart, and that is mother. So whether you've given birth, adopted, nurtured from the sidelines, or simply mothered through mentorship, I want you to know that your presence is a living legacy. And today we're not just honoring motherhood, we're actually redefining it by talking about how to become a totally unique mother. What does it mean to be a totally unique mother? Well, it means mothering from a place of authenticity, not perfection. It means releasing the pressure to be everything to everyone and instead embracing the power of being fully you. I think it's more also of knowing that your intuition, your voice, your traditions, your love, your boundaries, even your laughter, and yes, even your flaws are shaping lives in the most powerful way possible because we're raising our next generation, right? Being a totally unique mother is not about comparison. It's actually about connection, connecting to your babies, connecting to your truth, your children's needs. And what I hold very near and dear to my heart is connecting with the God-given grace that guides you daily. So today, whether you're listening with little ones tugging at your sleeve or from the quiet place of an empty nest, I invite you to join me. Breathe deep, lift your chin, and remember that you are raising greatness, but you are also becoming greatness. So extend yourself some grace as well. Happy Mother's Day, Queens. And let's talk about what it really means to mother from a place of wholeness, healing, and identity. So ladies, I have some questions for you. Do you ever feel like imposter syndrome has crowded out your brain? Because I certainly have. And do you ever feel like you don't know how to own your true, authentic, totally unique identity? And again, I'm asking that question because I have certainly been in that space. This is something that has been welling up in my heart, I would say for about a few weeks now. And I have called it, or I'm calling it, from imposter to empowered, owning my totally unique identity. So there was actually a time when I walked into rooms feeling like a fraud. Can you believe that? Like I had to earn the right to be seen, to speak up, or to just take up space. I used to shrink myself, and I didn't do it because I lacked potential or because I believed I lacked potential. That wasn't the reason at all. It was more because I let imposter syndrome lie to me. As it whispered, you're not qualified, you're just lucky, you're not good enough, or you don't belong here. I actually believed it. And for a long time, I listened. I overworked myself to prove my worth. I smiled when I wanted to speak. I blended in when I've always known that I was born to stand out. And it wasn't until I learned that imposter syndrome doesn't show up because you're unworthy. It shows up because you're powerful, because you're walking into places that your past never imagined you'd go. And then I realized that I carry gifts that make systems uncomfortable. And so do you, because I'm becoming something bold. And I realized that fear wants to keep me quiet, But today I say not anymore. Not me, not you, not anymore. And so now I've traded my perfectionism for my presence, and I've traded comparison for confidence and self doubt into actual self definition. I walk in my truth because I realize and I embrace that I am absolutely 100% totally unique. And so are you. I am now unapologetically me, fully formed, imperfect for sure, but divine. And I no longer ask for permission to shine. Now I decide to. And I no longer rehearse who others want me to be. Now I remember who I am. And so I no longer wait to be validated. I now affirm myself daily. And in the words of my link sister, Dr. Cheryl Williamson, validation is for parking, sweetie, not for people. So to every woman who's ever questioned if she's enough, I see you, sis. In fact, I was you. But now I invite you to join me, not just in healing, but in rising. Because you are not too much. You're not an accident. You are a force and a voice, a masterpiece in motion. You are the answer to rooms that have lacked your presence for so many years. You are a walking reminder that authenticity is power, and it looks like you. So I invite you today to show up, take your rightful space, and speak truth, and lead, love, rebuild, reclaim, be fierceful, fully and totally and uniquely yourself. Because the world needs that version of you, not the watered down one that you have become. And you deserve to be free. Now you may ask, Dr. Pam, what does it mean to be totally unique? Well, let me break that down for you. Totally is fully, unapologetically, and completely you. To be totally means embracing the fullness of your identity, your strengths, your flaws, your dreams, and your divine calling, and holding nothing back. It reflects a mindset of wholeness and intentionality, not half stepping, not people pleasing, and certainly not second guessing yourself. It's about showing up 100% in alignment with who you truly are, who you're becoming, and who you were divinely designed to be. You is the essence of your being, unfiltered and authentic. You is the core of your personal brand, your personality, your story, your values, and your journey. It's the recognition that no one else carries your perspective, your spirit, or your power. You is both a personal reminder and a public declaration that your individuality is not only valid, it's vital. It is the sacred permission to take up space, to lead, to heal, and to thrive. Can I say that again? It is the sacred permission to take up space, to lead, to heal, and to thrive. Unique means you're one of a kind. You're irreplaceable and unrepeatable. Unique means that there is no copy of you, no copycat, no comparison, and absolutely zero competition. Your uniqueness is your superpower, baby. From your style and your voice to your purpose and your impact, the word speaks to your divine design, the qualities that set you apart and call you higher. Being unique isn't about being different for attention. It's about being distinct by intention. And that is the difference. It's being distinct by intention, not being different for attention. Now, when you combine the meaning of totally unique, it means being wholly, boldly, and beautifully yourself, living with purpose, presenting with a polished look, and leading from a place of authenticity and power. I pride myself on that. To be a totally unique woman means to be, again, unapologetically and embraceful of your full identity, your inner brilliance, your outer beauty, your lived experiences, and your divine purpose, while standing confidently in your truth without comparison, without compromise, and without conformity. It is the empowered awareness that your voice, your presence, your gifts, and your journey were never meant to mirror anyone else's, but to blaze a path that only you can walk. A totally unique woman is not defined by societal modes, but her soul's authenticity. She leads with grace. She speaks with power. She heals with intention, and she grows with courage, embodying excellence, elegance, and emotional intelligence while elevating others through her light. And at Totally Unique, we believe that every woman, every single woman was created with intentionality, brilliantly, and beautifully, not to blend in, but to stand out. To be totally unique is to own your truth with confidence, to lead with grace and rise with resilience. It means embracing the fullness of who you are, your voice, your values, your vision, without apology and without comparison, because we are not and should not be defined by our titles, by trends, or by others' timelines. We are shaped by purpose. We're strengthened by our growth, and we are refined by our experiences. And we honor our past. We empower our present and blaze bold paths into the future. And at Totally Unique, we celebrate your authenticity. We elevate your excellence and cultivate your self mastery. Here, we polish the inner woman and sharpen the outer leader, not for approval, but for impact. We walk in divine confidence, practice intentional self development, and uplift every sister who dares to do the same. Because we recognize that when a woman becomes totally unique and when she understands who she is in her totally uniqueness, that she becomes unstoppable. Now, some have mistaken my totally uniqueness as being extra. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Now, I know you guys find it hard to believe that I've been called extra, right? I know you're surprised, but I've learned to wear it like a crown, not as criticism, because what some call extra, I call intentional. My style, my presence, my standards, they're not random. They're rooted in my self-respect. They're rooted in my self-excellence, and they're rooted in my self-identity. And it's how I choose to honor myself as I walk into spaces that I create for myself. I believe wholeheartedly in showing up fully, not halfway. And that means being thoughtful about how I speak, how I carry myself, and how I dress and how I treat others. And that's not being too much, sisters, if that's you. That's owning your totally uniqueness. What's really extra, but in a good way, is when a woman decides not to shrink, not to dull her light, and not to apologize for having excellence, purpose, and power. That's not doing the most. Not to me. That's refusing to do the least. So If being polished, confident, and prepared makes me extra, then guess what? I say to people, thank you, because I'd rather be extra on any given day. Because I'd rather be extra on any given day than be average. I'd rather stand out than blend in, and I'd rather be remembered than overlooked. That's just me. That's just who I am. And I don't apologize for that. And if my presence makes people uncomfortable, then I kindly invite them to level up without tearing me down. And you can choose to level up. And also, if I'm too much for you to look at, then I invite you to turn your head, because this isn't for show. This is who I am. And it took me a very long time to realize my totally uniqueness and to walk in it. So sis, guess what? The same for you. I'm sure if you have reached this state, because it is a state where your mindset has shifted into understanding that you too are totally unique, then that's intentional. And that's how we were designed, with intention. We were actually layered with strength and grace and wisdom as women, and fire, not to shrink, but to shine. And if walking in your truth feels heavy, it's because authenticity is a courageous act in a world that often rewards conformity. But the world doesn't need another copy. It needs us to be authentically ourselves, because our voices matter and our journeys are valid. And it's actually our light. Even when it flickers or dims, it still has power. So don't be discouraged by those who don't understand you. And please, whatever you do, don't downplay your gifts to make others comfortable. And please don't silence yourself because the world hasn't caught up to your brilliance yet. Instead, I invite you to rise, even if it's messy, boldly, sacred, and real. Because the moment you choose to own who you are, that is the moment you give every other woman permission to do the same. Because you are totally unique. Repeat that after me. I am totally unique. And the world needs to see you, not a version of you. Now, to all of my Black queens out there, deeply rooted in truth, resilience, and divine identity, this is what I have to say to you. Black woman, we were not just made to survive. We were not just made to live. We were made to shine. From the crown of our coils to the depth of our brilliance, we carry the fire of generations who turned pain into purpose and struggle into strength. We are the dreams of our ancestors, and we are the doers of our history. And believe it or not, the history and the hope, the storm and the stillness. To be totally unique queens means recognizing that your power was never meant to fit in. It was meant to transform. And you are royalty not because of your title, but because of your truth. And you walk with a grace born from endurance and a light that can never, ever be dismissed, and a presence that shifts rooms without needing to be announced. You've been told to tone it down, and you've been told to tame it back, and you've been told sit still and stay small. I have too. But queen, I say, you were born bold. You were born layered. You were born luminous, and you were born with a purpose. And your voice is a weapon of wisdom. Your rhythm is ancestral, just like your Black girl magic. Your identity is your art, a masterpiece even, shaped by God's divine hands, not by public opinion. You are not just strong, you are sacred, Queen. You're not just successful, you are significant. And you're not just different, you are divinely designed. And when God made Black queens, he then broke the mold. To be a totally unique Black queen is to reclaim the narrative, to lead from within, to love without limits, and to rise without needing permission. Your crown was never, ever given by man, and therefore it can't ever be taken away by man. So walk like you know your lineage. Speak like your soul remembers your heritage, and shine not to impress, but to liberate. Because when a Black woman understands that she is totally unique, she doesn't just elevate, she ignites a future generation. And my sister, my dear, dear sister, if trauma has robbed you of your totally uniqueness, I say to you, to the woman still healing and the little girl still hurting, you are not alone and you are not broken. You are simply becoming. So embrace that. What happened to you may have stolen your voice, but only for a season. But it did not silence your worth. The pain you've carried is not proof of weakness. It's proof of how deeply you were meant to feel and how strongly you were born to rise. Yes, the journey may have been hard. And yes, it may have even been scary to step into your brilliance after years of being told to dim it. But Queen, your story isn't over. You are totally unique despite your past because you survived and your soul is still intact. Your scars are not your shame, my sister. They are sacred wounds. And your softness has not been flawed. It is your power. It is your superpower. And your healing doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. And every step you take and your truth is a victory in and of itself. And every time you choose joy over fear, self-worth over silence, and love, self-love over shame, you reclaim yourself a little bit each time. So take your time, sister. Breathe deeply and woosah. And when you're ready, walk with your head held high. Not because life has always been fair, but because you're still here, you're still shining, and you still have the opportunity to rise into the totally unique woman that you were always meant to be. So with that being said, I'd like to share a list of my favorite curated quotes in the spirit of being totally unique and being a totally unique woman. From the words of Oscar Wilde, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And in the words of David Grohl, no one is you, and that is your power. And in the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. In the words of John Mason, you were born an original, so don't die a copy. In the words of Danielle Laporte, when you show up authentic, you create the space for others to do the same. And in the words of Brené Brown, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. And last but not least, in the words of Layla Delia, she remembered who she was and the game changed. The game changed. Not her. The game changed. And so, ladies, my totally unique and gracefully grinding ladies, I hope that these words have encouraged you, have lifted you up, and have ignited you to walk in your totally uniqueness. This is Dr. Pamela Brown-Grinion, and I'd like to leave you with the last words that I always leave you with, and that is, create your totally unique day on purpose. This has been another episode of the Grace and Grind podcast, brought to you by Totally Unique Educational Consultants. And if you'd like to reach me on social media, hit me up at I am Dr. Pamela. That's DrPamala. You can check out my website at www.totallyunique.com. That's totally YOU-NIQUE.com. Or you may email me at consult@totallyou-nique.com. And that's all we have time for now. So I will catch you on the flip side. So take care and remember to keep it graceful while you're grinding.